Meowdy. Looks like we have another mic to test out. Okay, well, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a minute, stuff happens, but here we are back with another video. Shout out to very, very long-time friends of the channel, FIFINE, for supplying today's microphone. When they reached out asking if I wanted to try out the K688 Amplitank XLR/USB microphone, I, of course, said yes. I kind of have a thing for hybrid microphones, XLR/USB microphones, because they're so heckin' versatile. But they also asked what stand, or what microphone stand anyway, I had, and I currently have a black one, but since this is a white microphone, they offered to send me the K688CT kit that includes said microphone stand. How heckin' kind. So what we're gonna do, I think you know the drill. We're gonna unbox everything. We're gonna go ahead and plug in everything. We're gonna test everything out, see how everything sounds. I've done a couple of these before with different microphones, different stuff, but of course, basically what we're trying to find out is this worth, hold on. Is this worth, right now, at the time of this video, $81.99 for the set in white, or $72 for the microphone itself? In black. Let's find out. Let's unbox first. Let's unbox. I probably need the microphone too. Okay, here we go. Let's open this up, see what we have. Nice cushion. Packaging's always pretty decent, I would have to say, especially for the price. So can't complain at all about the packaging. Lots of foam, lots of good stuff. Can't complain. We have the instructions, pretty standard, kind of what we see all the time. Not too bad, not too bad. But we both know that I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in and play, so to speak. Ooh, my goodness. Take a look at that. Holy cow. I can't. This feels sturdy. I can't tell if it's plastic or if it's metal. I don't want to read the spec sheet yet. I'm just going off of my first impressions, but so far, very sturdy. Pretty decent, living up to the Amplitank name. Let's get a little closer. Let's see that. So we have the USB input, output, USB-C, XLR. We have some headphone kind of monitor control. So we have your 3.5mm jack right here. I suppose you can monitor just like one of the other mics that I have from them in real time without having to go through your PC if you didn't want to. And then we have the mic volume. What I will say is that these two are going to be primarily for when you plug into USB-C and not when you plug in XLR. When you do XLR, you're gonna have to use your interface to do all that fun stuff there. But solid build, nice. Dig it, can't complain. I like the microphone cover. I like how it's a little bit gray, not so dark, because I wanted something a little bit different, something to match my desk a little bit more. I like the cage too. Cage is very solid, look at that. All right, here we go. We have a fairly nice USB-C to just a regular standard USB plug. I like that it matches, real nice. I like the branding as well. You can't complain too much about good branding. Matching desk clamp, love it. Solid metal, real good, has some grip. Pretty easy to move around. No cracking, no creaking. And, oh, let's take a look at this. Yeah, not bad. Can't complain so far. Let's take this guy out real quick. This, fairly lightweight. Springs are pretty solid. Take a look at that. Oh yeah, not too bad. For the price, really can't complain. Wonderful. All right, let's put this up. Let's see if there's anything else. Probably not, but yeah, that's what you get in the box. Let's scooch this over. Solid mic. Fairly solid stand. Good USB. let's take a look at how lengthy this USB-C cable is. Not too bad. I mean, here, I obviously can't necessarily show you the entire length without panning out, but pretty decent. Let's, here, give me a second, and I'll get you an exact measurement. Okay, this is an 8.2 foot USB-C cable, which might, depending on your setup, might be a little bit short. I've noticed on mine, I tend to need to get a longer one because my PC pretty much sits on the opposite side of where my mic sits, which can be a little bit of a dilemma. But if you have something like a hub or anything like that, you can just plug in and do all that good stuff. You won't have to get anything extra. Most setups are probably going to be okay with this one, so I can't really complain too much, or at all, really. Ooh, mute button, I'm assuming. Might be capacitive touch, I don't know. I'll have to plug everything in. With that said, let's go plug everything in. All right, here's what we're looking at. We got this guy all set up on here. What I'm going to do now is, since we're plugged in USB-C, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this in directly to my PC over here. So don't mind the mess of the cord. I just want to make sure I get this connected directly to the tower, because try to plug it in here, going through the USB-C hub, or the USB hub, sorry, into my monitor, didn't work. So make sure when you're doing that, plug directly in and get that all set up. So for now, we're gonna just do this, so don't mind that. It's gonna be set up completely different in the future, but I want to make sure the audio's nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here. I'm in I'm in Adobe Audition right now. I'm gonna drop the default input down into, you know what, hold on. There we go, now you can see it a little bit better, but we're gonna drop the input to the FIFINE microphone, change everything out, and then we're gonna go ahead and record a little bit of audio here, okay? Here we are, we're all set up. Again, don't mind this. This is not important. I will deal with this at some point, but right now, this is all we're doing is just trying to see, or I guess trying to hear how the audio out of this microphone is. So please, just don't. Anyway, so right now, obviously, you're hearing this mic right here. You're hearing this mic going straight into my little Canon camera right here. But what we're gonna do now, but let me, hold on, before we do that, okay, now we should be synced up, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna switch over to my Adobe Audition file here. I'm not gonna do any post-processing whatsoever. At most, what I'll do is I'll boost the audio to match, but honestly, no, we're not even gonna do that. I have the dial on the back of the mic set all the way to max, if you will, so all the way as far as it can go. And we're just recording directly in right now. So let's switch over. Now we're on USB mic, going straight into my desktop here, recording into Adobe Audition. No post-processing, none of that stuff. I'm not doing nothing, no denoise, no equalization, none of that stuff. You're just hearing the audio coming right out of this. I'm not hearing it because I don't have any monitors on, but if I wanted to, I could pop in some headphones and listen to myself and adjust said audio with the little monitor knob on the back. That's kind of, it's not the best way to do it. It's an easy way to do it. You could do it through your PC. Honestly, whichever way makes it easy for you. Really, we're gonna keep it that way. I would say that would make it a lot more simple to kind of monitor through the microphone directly, but you can set it up through your PC or through your Mac to monitor through whatever audio interface you have with, even with the USB-C. So don't worry. How's it sound? What do you think? I don't know yet. Myself? I don't know. But you let me know how it sounds, because I won't find out until after I'm done editing. So what we're gonna do now, my favorite part, we're gonna unplug USB. We're gonna plug in XLR. I'm not gonna go into my interface here because it's a little bit pricey compared to, what you're trying to do on a budget. So I'm gonna grab my Zoom recorder and we're gonna plug in directly to that and we're gonna show you how that sounds. Show you how that sounds? You know what I mean. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna plug in XLR to my Zoom PodTrak P4, which, sorry, I got that backwards, which is what I use to record my many podcast episodes. And by many, I mean, not very many, but that's gonna change with this mic, I'm assuming. I'm gonna spoil this for myself, even though you've already heard, but I just took a quick listen to the USB direct plugin version of said audio, and oh my goodness, I'll talk about it in a sec, but let me get this plugged in and then we will go over how everything sounds. So just give me a sec, okay? This takes coordination. I'm not really good with coordination. Hold on. Okay, we got everything set up. I have the mic connected directly XLR to my first port in here. I have the volume, the input volume at around 6.5, between 6 and 7, so 6.5, if you will. I'm not monitoring, so I'm not quite sure of the audio just yet, but I am checking my levels to make sure I'm not jumping up too high. So what we're going to do now is, well, again, you're hearing the microphone that's attached to me, this little guy right here, directly into my camera. So let's switch over. Well, let's sync first. Let's switch over and check out how XLR sounds. So this is going into my PodTrak P4. No extra, nothing. I'm just gonna take the files out of here. At most, I'm gonna boost the volume if I have to. Doubt it, but we're just gonna let it go exactly how it is. No post-processing, none of that nonsense. Just pure audio going straight in to my timeline here. So, okay. This is the XLR audio. This is how it sounds. What do you think? I hope it's nice and bassy. I personally have a very my voice is a little bit higher. Some would say a bit annoying. Some would be me, but I do love how XLR mics and just bigger powered mics in general kind of give you a nice, rich, warm tone when you're speaking. It makes it sound a little bit more pleasing than, just how I normally would sound in real life if I was talking to you in person, which you would probably be annoyed by now, but that is neither here nor there. What do you think? What do you think of the audio? I haven't heard the audio just yet, but I'm pretty stoked to hear how it sounds based off of what I just heard from just plugging in USB. Pretty excited. Let's drop this in to a timeline so I can check it out, and then we'll kind of go over our final thoughts and see if this is going to stay up here or if it's going to go somewhere else, or if I'm going to use it to do podcast stuff remote. I didn't even think about that. Okay, what have we learned? I've taken a few minutes, taken some time, not that much time. I wanted to get as first of an impression. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Something along those lines. I wanted to get as quick as an impression as I could for said microphone. Oh, by the way, it's not plugged in. We're back on wireless mic here, so sorry. I really dig the audio coming out of this guy right here. I honestly couldn't tell too much of a difference with headphones on between just plugging in direct USB and going through my PodTrak P4 to record audio. Said podcast P4 recorder audio thingy that I have records really good audio, can't complain. It's fairly cheap right now, so I think if you wanted to do like a podcast setup and you didn't want to have a whole computer behind you that you had to do, you just wanted something you can take files out, upload directly in one go, I would strongly recommend this setup right here. Get the stand, get the mic, plug it in XLR. You could pretty much get a podcast done in just, from start to finish, and then minimal post-processing. As far as a streaming setup, this is probably a good one to go with if you don't want to get an audio interface kind of like one that I have here, or the PodTrak P4, which can be used as audio interface. Just plug it straight into your tower, good to go, really crispy audio, don't have to worry about too much. Plus, you can also adjust your volume and your monitor here and here, and you have access to a quick mute on top as well. So I would say, if you're doing a little bit of streaming, go ahead and go with that. Plug it in direct. You have everything you need right here as far as controlling your own audio. So things start to peak, you can turn it down. You need to hear yourself a little bit more, you can turn that up. You need to do a quick cough or drink or something like that, hit mute, you're good to go. Me personally, we're gonna plug this in XLR. Probably gonna do some podcast stuff. We might even take it with us and do some remote podcasting, since I have another one of these guys sitting back there. The model before this one, so not exactly this one, but I have a model similar to this. I'm pretty stoked to use them in tandem. So let me know what you think. I wanna know what you think about both sets. Let me know what you thought about the USB audio versus the XLR audio. Granted, they should technically be just about the same, if not exactly the same. It's good times either way. This is gonna stay here. It matches my desk really nicely, and I'm very happy with the audio. I like the build quality, can't complain. I like the setup. Everything's easily adjustable, so yeah, it's gonna stay here. One small thing I need to do, I need to get a braided white XLR cable so I can feed this down and everything look all nice and uniform. All right, need to pick this up, the K688CT. I will leave all the links in the description. So I'll have the links for just the microphone, just the stand, and then also the CT kit here, which contains both of them. Questions, comments, anything like that? Feel free to let me know. If you have any questions about this, please ask. This is gonna be on my desk for the foreseeable future. So any future videos, any future streams, be sure to check it out if you wanna see this in action. And I'm more than likely gonna touch base back with you in a few months, see how wear and tear is. See, I'm pretty rough with things, so if it falls apart, I'm gonna let you know, but none of my other ones have this long, so I have confidence in this microphone, so. I gotta go. We'll be back soon with more stuff. I have some fun stuff planned, and I think we're back into it. All right, like, share, subscribe if you want. If you don't, okay. You do you. Okay, bye.